Evening, everyone, and welcome back to uSTADIUM Live. I'm Splash, joined by Dion and Jack. We will be breaking down the two conference championship games, as well as some recent breaking news concerning Zach Wilson, the Pittsburgh Steelers, maybe Mac Jones. But first off, how are you guys doing?
Good, bro. Everything is good. Looking forward to getting this rundown started. It's going to be something that I think we look forward to every week, especially with all the breaking news and all the off-season content coming up. I think it'll be fun. It'll be good for us.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's going to be a good time going through all this, not just the breaking news, but also getting our thoughts out about the games that are taking place as well, such as the conference championship games that were last Sunday. So I think it's going to be fun.
For sure.
Looks like Splash is having some mic trouble. Could not be worse timing for that.
Can you not hear us?
Can you not hear us?
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we do hear you. You're good? Good. Yeah. Thumbs up. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, because I can't hear you. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, all right. No problem.
Oh, boy.
Let's figure. Good thing it's alive and not.
Why would we have to have technical difficulties?
I know, right? As soon as we go live for our first show, we did like a whole prior week of planning, and now we have like the first live show.
We're good. Okay, I can hear you. Great.
We're good. All right,
awesome.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Let's
Well,
start.
Lovely timing on that one.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of lovely timing, where did the Ravens offense go, man? They were great all season. They were scoring 30 points, like 9 out of the last 11 games with Lamar, and then they just evaporated, bro. What happened?
I think it's a combination of a couple things. I think that you got to give credit where credit's due with the Chiefs defense. I mean, they played their asses off, and I don't know how you can't give them credit. I mean, they did their best against Lamar Jackson. And at the same time, I kind of also have to question the play calling a little bit. I feel like when you put Lamar into that strictly drop back, throw it type of, game plan, I feel like more often than not, especially against a good opponent, typically fails. I don't know why they didn't utilize his legs more. I feel like the Ravens were one of the best rushing offenses all season. I don't know how they got away from that. And Gus Edwards, 3 carries. We got to do better than 3 carries. I'm sorry, man. That's unacceptable. In a playoff game, that's your, essentially your bell cow running back. I know you want to mix it up with Justice Hill and whatnot, but I mean, we got to get him involved. What's that about?
Yeah, that one hurt, man. That 6 total rushes for Hill and Edwards. You had the big run. You got 3 straight chunk plays on the Ravens touchdown drive. You had the 4th and 1 big run from Lamar. Then you had a chunk run from Edwards. Then you had the 40-yard touchdown. And you're like, bro, that was easy. They just moved the ball. They had more explosive plays on that drive in that sequence, and the Bills had all of last week. The Josh Allen team, Stephon Diggs. Yeah, that's a pretty good team. And then Edwards didn't get another carry for what felt like 3 hours. And listen, I thought Todd Monken was all right. I know the rushing attempts are really low, and that's just bad. And you hate that. That's just a bad optics. Like, that's just bad optics. You need to have Edwards involved more. You need to have Hill involved more. I don't know if they were checking out of pass calls. I don't know if the looks were pro pass and just Lamar didn't execute and the receivers didn't execute. I do want to throw it out there that on the first play of the 4th quarter, the Ravens were inches away from going down 4 with a chance to make it a 3-point game with an extra point. And I think that kind of gets lost. That's something that, Lamar ends up with 1 touchdown, 2 turnovers, and should have had a second interception, or should have had a first interception before the horrendous ball he threw. But that one's going to hurt. Zay Flowers is definitely kicking himself. That's one of a triple whammy there. That you have the taunting penalty, then you fumble at the goal line, and then he cuts his hand. So, like.
And credit to Legarius Sneed. I mean, come on,
unbelievable! That's a superhuman play. That is a play that will go down in Chiefs history. I don't know if it has a name. Like, I know the Ayuk catch in the other game is like the catch 4 or Ayuk. There's something that rhymes with Ayuk.
Whatever it is. I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah, but it's like the catch 4. Okay, awesome. They have their play. Legarius Sneed that goes right up there with the greatest defensive plays in the history of the NFL. I think Flowers would have been short anyways, but that's just a phenomenal play by Sneed, an all-pro level player. Jack,
I mean, how did I can't imagine how much worse things could get on that drive for him. Like when you not only when you like are short of the line to gain and you fumble the football right there, like on the 1 yard line, you're about to score. I don't know why I said the line of the game, but you know what I mean. He fumbled like right when he was about to score a touchdown, and then he goes on the bench and just slams his hand down in like anger, and then he hurts it. He like cuts his hand like out of rage. It's like,
Been there.
oh, that sucks. Like that entire thing just does not sound fun.
It was just adding salt on the wound, because for me, I feel like in that situation, I don't know how on earth Zay Flowers isn't being at least somewhat cautious. Like the saying, "Don't let your emotions get the best of you," is especially true in a playoff game, and that's exactly what happened. You do
I think
not
it's
let
true
that.
just in general. Like I've seen teams take back-breaking penalties in games because they somebody will like kick the ball away from the ref or whatever it is, instead of handing it back to him to spot the ball or whatever. Like people will often let their emotions get the best of them in situations where they shouldn't. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, there's no reason for it in that situation at all. And Zay Flowers screwed up, and that the whole taunting thing too. No reason to add fuel to the fire. I mean, none at all, especially in a playoff game.
Man, okay. Look, I don't want to be that Ravens fan. The taunt was both teams were going at it. Every time Kelsey caught a pass, he's jawing.
Fair.
You have no idea if Snead was yapping the whole game. Like I know Zay spins the ball and it hits Snead. He didn't throw it at Snead. Like he did the spin thing that every single receiver in the NFL does, it feels like. So I get it. It's weird. Just bad optics there. And I know the general consensus was, well, the Ravens just sucked, so they're not going to get the calls. There were a couple, like even on the interception, you could have called PI there. The funniest part of the sequence was Gene Sarator saying, "Oh yeah, the contact comes well after the interception," as they're showing a replay of likely getting like plastered. It's like, okay, like maybe that's not a PI, totally justifiable, but when Gene Sarator is just blatantly wrong like that. Gonna point that out. There were a couple plays in the fourth quarter. The receivers were getting tackled. It's like, okay, come on now, getting a little handsy there. But I do want to give Roquan Smith credit on the play. He blows up the guard. That's just a genius. That's a Roquan Smith play. That's why you pay him $20 million a year. That's why he's one of the top 2 linebackers in the league with Fred Warner. So a shout out to the guys in the chat. We got Noah with Raven Stink. That one hurts, pal. We got Schwavy. I'm going to pretend that's how you pronounce your name. Jason with the Greg Roman-esque play calling. Roman would have called some more run plays, bro.
Honestly, I was about to say the same thing.
And the hardest thing, there was no play action either. So you had no ground game outside of Lamar scrambles, and you had no play action. That was the backbreaker, and it just sucks as a way to end the season, right? This is an awesome Ravens team. They go 13-4. Lamar's going to win his second MVP. Zay Flowers had a great rookie season. You have all pro seasons from Kyle Hamilton, Roquan Smith, Justin Madubuike was on the second team. And it sucks that it has to end this way, and that you're going to be thinking about it the next 8 months, right? Everyone on the team is going to be thinking, especially the offense, man, the defense played out of its mind. I know Kansas City had the drive at the very end, but like the last 9 times Kansas City touched the ball, they scored 3 points, and they had 2 productive drives, really. They had the field goal drive to make it 17-7, and then they had the drive to ice it all the way at the end. But props to the defense, man. I'm surprised they didn't like stab offensive players after that one. Lamar after the interception, Zay after the turnover, just brutal, man. But credit where credit's due. Chiefs defense showed up. L'Jarius Sneed was kind of getting worked, but he answered the bell with the forced fumble. Chris Jones, just absolute game wrecker, man. Hopefully someone other than Kansas City pays him so we can kind of spread the talent out a little bit. But credit Kansas City. They had perhaps the best player in the NFL on their team in Tyreek Hill. And it's like, okay, we're going to trade him and we're going to rebuild the defense. We're going to draft Trent McDuffie, and we're going to draft Nick Bolton, and we're going to draft Willie Gay, and we're going to draft, and we're draft. And you have an unbelievable defense, top 2 or 3 unit in the league. So credit where it's due there.
I don't question I think the Ravens will be back. The hard part for, I think, Ravens fans and the Ravens offseason is those questions about Lamar, even while winning an MVP, this is so insane to say. I mean, they kind of arise again. Do you know that he can win in the big games, in the big moments, in the big spots? I mean, it's been evident throughout his career thus far. Probably not. I don't want to jump on the bandwagon and start, shitting on the guy. I think he's a tremendous talent, and he'll figure it out eventually. But I don't know. You couldn't win that game on Sunday with the way that offense showed up. It just was not doable. My question to you guys is just simple: yes or no. Did Lamar choke? Simple as that. Did he choke?
I am gonna lean on the side of if you're blaming the choke on someone, I think it's more on Flowers than on Lamar. Because the interception, horrible, bad, terrible. I get it. That's as maybe not quite as bad as the Jordan Love one, considering you're down 10 as opposed to 3. But awful. Like that is the definition of a turnover worthy play, -2 in PFF's grading system, whatever. But I think that was a pressing moment. You're down 10. You're just, I don't know. So I wouldn't say it's as much of a choke as you played an elite defense. And reminder that Patrick Mahomes led his offense to 0 points and 1 productive drive in the second half. So it's not like Lamar was the only quarterback that couldn't score, couldn't move the ball in the second half. I do think we're spoiled with Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady that these guys, Brady went to 10 Super Bowls. Mahomes is going to his 4th, right? That's, that they had the overlap in 2020, but that's 13 seasons since 2001 that either Mahomes or Brady has gone to the Super Bowl. It's going to the Super Bowl is hard, right? The Rams,
it's supposed
as
to be
great
hard.
as they've been, they went once, or I guess they went twice. Right, in 20 years. You have great organizations that don't go to the Super Bowl. Buffalo hasn't been with Josh Allen. We are not talking about Josh Allen as a playoff joker. He's never been into a Super Bowl. He got blown out in an AFC title game. He didn't play well. He isn't. I was looking at this earlier.
I think some people are started.
But you wouldn't call him a playoff choker. But you look at Lamar and you see, he's 2-4 in the playoffs. Keep in mind that the Ravens were the number 1 seed twice, and the Bills have had 3 of their 5 playoff wins have come against 7 seeds. Right.
Wild.
So if you move Josh Allen's career 5 years in the past, right, and it's like 2014 to now, right, those 2 seed games are just buys. So his record is like 2-4, right? He has the win over Mac Jones in a 3-6 game, and has the win over Lamar in the 17-3 game with all the missed field goals and whatnot. So I understand the Lamar choker label, but I also think we have to be realistic here and note that Brady and Mahomes are changing the scale for all these quarterbacks. The only quarterback to beat Mahomes in the playoffs that is active is Joe Burrow. Yeah. Mahomes is 14-1 against everyone else. Josh Allen included, Lamar included, Ryan Tannehill included, Deshaun Watson included, Baker Mayfield included. There's a different scale, and Lamar gets put on that scale. He's not Mahomes. No one claims he is Mahomes. He's not Brady. No one claims he is Brady, but he gets compared to these guys.
Yeah. Jack?
Definitely just a lot of doubts, I think, about Patrick Mahomes have been kind of erased from my mind. I mean, sure, he didn't play his greatest this season, I'd say, so far as a whole. But, come on. Like you guys have been saying, pretty much, the Chiefs, they've been in the Super Bowl, 4 out of the last 5 years? I haven't had much. I'm looking down, man. I'm getting
GM
the
Capital Services guy. Props to you, man.
I'm getting
if you have
Cody
the
Bellinger
uSTADIUM app, I'll
right
send
now.
you 1,000 points. Just drop your
That's
username.
hilarious.
I'm getting the Cody Bellinger treatment right now, man. I haven't had a chance to look up at the screen yet. So I've been looking down at the comments.
No, I don't agree with you, man. I've seen a lot of bad Joe Flacco games in the playoffs.
Yeah, against the Texans was enough for me, I think.
He was a disaster in that game.
We're past the Flacco trade.
In 2009, the Ravens went into Foxborough and beat the Patriots 34-14. Flacco was 4 for 10 for 34 yards, 0 touchdowns, and interception. And you'll win in Foxborough against Tom Brady by 3 scores. I know.
Unreal.
Flacco's like playoff career is a touch overrated because he has the one run. It's kind of like Nick Foles, but at least Nick Foles had another good playoff game against Philly or against Chicago the next year. But I don't know. Why do you think the Ravens played so badly? I'm going to give credit to the Chiefs here. That's a top 3 defense.
Yeah, the Chiefs just stepped up.
Yeah,
awesome.
I think it's as
defensive
simple
line.
as that.
Yeah,
it really is as simple as that. I mean, and also to Lamar's, I don't want to. That throw into triple coverage was just unacceptable, man. I'm sorry. I don't know what the plan there was exactly, but just
I think it felt a little just desperation at that point, honestly.
Yeah,
really
it was a little desperation, but I don't know, man. I feel like you could have made a better read or done something, or actually decided to use your legs, which probably would have bailed them out. Because I feel like there was I'm not sure if it was a 3rd and long or one of the. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but the 1 or 2 times Lamar did use his legs, like it was successful. He was pretty unscathed.
I think
so.
Also kind of comes down to the game plan as a whole.
Yeah, I think something like 54.
Splash was saying, they underutilized their running backs in that game too. So I think that was also kind of like there's a lot of teams in the NFL where you can say as if they get their ground game going, they get their pass game going too. And it also
get the
helps
play action game going as well.
And when you have a quarterback like Lamar Jackson who can run the football whenever at any given play, it's like, come on, you need to run the ball a little bit more often. And I think the Ravens were one of those teams.
Yeah, and they were never down by more than 10. That's the tough part. That it was a 2-score game for over a quarter. I get that, but you still have to have some threat of the run, right? Like, I guess you have the threat of the run always, and maybe that's like changing the look of the defense. Maybe the film says, okay, the Ravens were smart to pass the ball every single time, it felt like. But
yeah,
you go back to the Titans game. Yeah, okay, they're down 22 half the time. All right, fair enough. You got to throw the ball 59 times with Lamar. He had 83 total, like 53 passes, 20 rushes, and 4 sacks.
Yeah, to me, the Ravens' weapons aren't great enough to overcome not running the ball at all. I mean, come on. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Andrews, you gutted it out.
Even that too. I said it in our preview show. The Mark Andrews thing I figured was kind of going to mess with them, and I feel like it was kind of. They weren't really sure who to go to, Likely or Andrews a little bit, and then completely abandoning the run was, where you sealed it. I mean, the defense did what they needed to do. The Ravens defense, and the fact you couldn't even put up a field goal. Come on, I mean, you got to be doing better than that.
That one hurt. But again, if Zay doesn't fumble, it's 17-14. And listen, I'm not going to discount number 15. I was fully expecting at some point they're going to score and end the game, right? It didn't end up happening. They just iced it with the drive at the very end. But it could have been 17-14.
He's one of those quarterbacks. He's one of those quarterbacks where you're not just going to look at Patrick Mahomes on the other sideline and be like, oh yeah, they're not going to score.
Right. As good as the defense played, it's like it's going to happen, right? You're not going to hold 15 down for very long. And, a credit where it's due, the Chiefs won back-to-back games as the underdog, went into Buffalo, went into Baltimore. Hard to win in those places, and they did. And yes, the NFL will make mad money from Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they will crush. I mean, the post game, CBS absolutely crushed in ratings from that game, the Ravens Chiefs game, and the after scene where I feel like it was almost like a movie. I couldn't believe it. It seemed like fake. Like Kelsey came down and here comes Taylor Swift, wearing a red sweater and she has red lipstick on, and then they go for some weak ass kiss and I don't know. Listen, I don't want to call anything rigged, but that moment right there was just a little strange.
Hey,
it
felt Jason.
So,
relax.
Synthetic.
Pal.
It didn't feel
relax.
really
Chill out on the Jets.
Very weird.
Relax.
Cool the Jets there.
From Super Bowl. Taylor Swift.
I don't know if you guys like Taylor Swift or don't like Taylor Swift. I'm kind of don't like her because obviously the Travis Kelce thing, and they just beat us in the playoffs. And every time I'm working at night and I hear a Taylor Swift song, I kind of flip off the air and try to.
I don't know if it's that people don't like her per se, like her and her music. I think it's more so
the music is fine.
The media coverage of it all, I feel like, is a little ridiculous.
It is it is a little intense. They kind of it feels like they pay more attention to her in the suite than they do to the game.
And to fans also, think of how many like championship games when you're watching back, the number one thing, especially in these tight games, is the fan reactions. Those are like the immediate visceral things that you start to think of when you think of, a crazy game, or from whenever it was. Like, I'm not sure how you don't get more of that involved. I feel like that's what a lot of the true traditionalist football fans want. But I mean, listen, ratings are ratings, and CBS and the NFL are going to do what they have to do to take advantage of that. Who am I to blame them? No one. So,
right. Hey, let's hop over to the other network real quick. Fox had one whale of a game, 49ers 34, Lions 31. Dan Campbell is getting a lot of heat for 2 fourth down attempts. One, instead of going up by 17, he opts to go for it. They fail on 4th and 3.
Get that off the screen.
And late in the game, down 3, instead of opting for a 48-yard field goal, they go for the 4th down. They fail again. Jack, as the resident 49er hater, should the Lions consider firing Dan Campbell? Did you agree with the calls? Where do you stand?
Okay. The Lions are not going to fire Dan Campbell. I don't think that that's anywhere near the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
But if he had been here for a while, that would probably be a fireable offense. Not only because like the repeated attempts on like insisting we're going to go for it on 4th down again and again and again, but then also his comments after the game. I was looking on Twitter. I had to do a double take to make sure the Sports Center account I was looking at wasn't fake. When he said they dropped a quote where he said that like I don't know if we're going to be able to do this again next year or whatever it was like that. It's like
he said what was the exact quote? He said it very strangely. He goes,
it's hard to get back here. It's not a guarantee we'll be back here.
That's right. What it was. It's not a guarantee.
He's right, but like the way the quote, I don't think that was the exact quote. Let me find it really quick. It was not a good
he's right.
It was like
it's
the
so
timing
hard to win in the NFL.
Was weird. I feel like that's something you tell your team before you go into an NFC Championship game. Like, hey guys,
like live in the moment.
This could be the only chance we have at this.
So give it your own after the loss.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You don't.
That's not. I don't love that. That's not like
neither.
when you saying that after a game.
It's a little sour grapes.
It's that, and it's giving off like a vibe of like, are we like? I'm not confident that we're going to be able to make it back next year. I understand that might not have been the intent. He might have just been saying, like you said, it is very hard to get back, which is true. And like if he would have just said it that way, I don't think I would have had this big of a problem with it. But the way he worded it kind of implies, this team.
NBA.
No, not right now.
Not right now.
This team is basically like I don't know if we have what it takes to make it back to the NFC Championship game, and it's like that's not a great comment from your head coach, and especially in a scenario like that where you just blew. It was like a 24-7. Yeah. And I mean, geez, I really in that situation like. I don't know why he went for it on 4th down twice. I understand the first time he did it and it worked out, but that late in the game when you're fighting to try and tie the game and you can't seem to get any more points on the board otherwise.
That's where I disagree, bro. I think that if there was one field goal to take in the situation that they had, it would have been the first one. I feel like you take the first one, you go up 3 scores basically. Because what was it?
Yeah,
it was 2
I agree
touchdowns
with that.
And then you go up 3 scores. I feel like that's a gimme. Like, how do you not go up, take a 17-point lead in that situation? It's like absolutely insane.
Yeah,
I feel like
I agree with that 100%.
That was the give me. That was the give me.
Yeah,
but
there was one before that where he went for it on 4th down. I think
the later one, I don't know, man, because I feel like they've been doing this all season. I'm not sure if I want to fully blame him for that last one. I feel like you had to get the points and stop the momentum somewhat, but that wasn't the way to do it. I think that. If you wanted to give yourself the best chance to win that game, it was by kicking the field goal. And I think that that's just the obvious reasoning for kicking the field goal in that situation. You tie the game and, see what happens from there.
I could be misremembering how it went.
So I will say the fourth, they were both 4th and 3, according to ESPN, game stuff.
Yeah.
4th and 3, once from the 28, once from the 30. The Lions don't trust Michael Badgley, which is perhaps a bigger indictment on the Lions themselves as opposed to Dan Campbell. So maybe you look at yourself in the mirror and have a kicker that can hit from 50 yards in a playoff game.
Yeah.
So I do think that's something we have to weigh here, that Michael Badgley is not this like Justin Tucker, Harrison Butker kicker, right? And you clearly didn't trust him. The only time he came out for a field goal was a 21-yard kick at the end of the first half. And I that definitely plays a role into this, that if you don't trust the kicker, that we have a wacky perspective and it's so results based. I had this conversation with Frankie, shout out Frankie, about when the Ravens went for 2 a bunch, right? And they would go for the win. They went for the win against the Packers. They went for the win against the Steelers. They failed both times.
Yeah.
You just flip it around, and if they convert one of them, it's a genius. You steal a victory, right?
Yes.
Look what the Titans did. Their big comeback against Miami. They went for 2, down 8. They got it, and then they go win the game in regulation. The Packers also did that earlier in the season against the Saints. But when it doesn't work, when the Lions fail a 4th down to win the game, or fail a 2-point conversion to win the game against Dallas a couple weeks ago, when they fail on 2 4th and 3s, it's 4th and 3. You have a great offense. You scored 31 points in this game, and you had two drives inside the 30 that you fail on 4th and 3. All right. Right.
Yeah.
And I'll go back to the other game for a minute. Baltimore and Kansas City on their first touchdown drives had a critical 4th down conversion that if they don't pick up, you don't think about it again. They don't score on that drive, but they pick it up and they go down and score 7-0 Kansas City, 7-7. Baltimore comes back and ties it. I'm cool with Campbell going for it. That's the identity of the team. You also don't trust the kicker. I was cool with it. I get the bad optics because you didn't get it. And there is an upside to going for it. There is a chance convert. Like this isn't like brain surgery here. There's a chance.
It's literally the whole like if he succeeds, he looks like a genius. If he fails, he looks stupid type of thing.
The thing is, it's hard for me to truly blame him when, dude, like they've been doing it all season and they've been successful all season. I mean, not all season, but most of the season. I think it shows stones by Campbell. I mean, that's the obvious thing.
Definitely shows belief in his team.
That's for sure.
That's the number one thing. It shows belief in Jared Goff. He really, really believed that Jared Goff and was going to get the job done there. But it wasn't Jared Goff's fault, man. Reynolds, you have to catch the ball. You're running the most beautiful, crisp, clean routes. Ben Johnson is absolutely cooking for you guys, and you drop the ball. You can't, dude. I'm sorry. The throw was good enough. I know he was at a weird angle and he had to twist his body a little bit. Like, you got to make that play. That's a big time play that needed to be made in that situation, and he dropped the ball. Well, literally dropped the ball.
Yeah, and it's tough because that's going to be the only thing you see for the next 8 months. If you're a Lions fan, the rest of my family is a Lions fan. Of course, I'm a Ravens fan. All you're going to be asking the rest of the offseason is, what if we kick the field goal? Because look at Buffalo. Buffalo kicked the field goal. Granted, that was a 4th and 9, so a little bit different. But they kicked the field goal. They missed the field goal. You're not thinking, some great choke job by McDermott or
no, the immediate reaction goes to Tyler. How the hell did Tyler Bass miss this kick? That's
right. Exactly. And I forget what podcast I was listening to, so I apologize. But there are some teams, some organizations that like the kicker just isn't really part of the team. So when you have a situation like that, the guys are like, darn, man, why did we let the kicker decide this? But when your offense is deciding it or your defense is deciding it, then those are the losses that sit with you. And those are the losses you overanalyze and you're like, man, how did we let this happen? Right? The Ravens are going to be thinking that. The Lions offense is going to be thinking that. Well, I would imagine there's some people on the Bills that are like, man, we just shouldn't have let the kicker decide it. Josh should have made a better decision on 2nd down or 3rd down, or Diggs should have caught the 70-yard pass, whatever. You think about all those things. So we got some beef in the chat here. We got Gabe Tringus and GM Capital Services going after each other. We got Alexander in the chat. Yeah, what's popping? If you guys have the uSTADIUM app, first off, if you don't, where are you? What are you doing with your life? We're popping. You can download the app, QR code on the screen. Or maybe Jack put it in the description. I don't know. That might be above his pay grade.
I don't know if you can put a QR code in the description.
That's a good point. Maybe you put the link to download the app in the description. But,
probably what I should have put there, yeah.
Yeah, but I've been popping it up here and there. First off, drop a like if you're enjoying the stream. Subscribe to the channel. If you're on Twitter, check us out on YouTube. I've been posting more shorts. But comment your uSTADIUM username for 500 points. That can help you get in on takes. I had some big takes wins this weekend. Did you guys have any nice ones?
I had one or two, but they were pretty simple ones. I don't know if Jack had anything.
I had a
crazy.
pretty big take loss. I said that Sam Laporta was going to get 2 tutties in the NFC title game. That
was pretty
obviously
bad.
did not
That was
happen.
pretty bad.
So.
Can't back you on that one. I
No.
I won points on that one. I had a couple. Like I had a Ravens one that I missed. Lamar to throw and run for a touchdown didn't happen.
Oh, I had a really weird. Like I ended up betting Chiefs and Lions, and I put them in a parlay, so that did pretty well for me. But let me think of it. Oh, I put up a take for Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce under like 130 receiving yards, and that got absolutely smashed. So, and that was combined, so that got absolutely cooked.
It'd be like that. I did have I have an underdog slip. We're also sponsored by Underdog, but
yes,
I had an underdog slip. I did you have like Super Bowl squares, right? You have the grid.
Yeah.
So I had 6 Ravens bets and 6 Chiefs bets. So I combined all of them and made 36 bets. So like A1, A2, B1, B2, so on and so forth. All 6 Ravens bets hit. Lamar fumbled, Tucker kicking points, all these hit. None of the Chiefs ones hit. So I went 0 for 36. These idiots were stuck on 17 points for 2 quarters. What are we doing? I got hilarious. Totally hosed because Pacheco had a rushing touchdown. It wasn't a Mahomes' second touchdown. I can't believe I didn't have more on Kelce to go bananas. I did have him in a different slip to score a touchdown. That hit, but one of the other.
It might be the worst uSTADIUM take that I made this season was saying the Cowboys would miss the playoffs. I don't know what I was on.
That was one of the worst takes.
I should have. I every time I look back on that, I'm like, I should have just said in November. I said that I should have
away from clinching.
Yeah, I think they were like. I didn't realize how close they were to like actually make. What it should have been was that they lost in the first round again. So
jeez,
Jason, poor guy, man.
150 points. Jeez.
Hey, Jack, Gabe,
NHL.
I don't, but my guy Jack does do some NHL. Yeah. Wait, quick one right here, just because we don't do NBA, but let me just take care of this one real quick.
Sorry,
I'll put that back on the screen.
Oh, you
got it. I got it.
Okay. Come on, D. What
one guy
build around Julius Randle and Mikal
Bridges. I think build around is a much different question than who is the more valuable player right now. I think if you're going to build around one player, Jesus, relax. What's going on in the chat? I think that if you're going to pick one player, just because of the scoring volume, if you're going to build your team around one singular player, I guess you go Randall right now, right this moment. But I do think that Mikal is more valuable, and in the next year or so will be a much better player than Randall. But that's just my opinion.
I've watched less than one full game of NBA. I care more about baseball right now. I'm like grinding these baseball podcasts, bro. Like every single one.
As a baseball casual, I'm thinking about baseball more than I'm about basketball. But that's just because my team has Shohei Ohtani. So
okay.
Yeah, he's right.
We might have to kick Jack for that one. But shocking. There are 32 NFL teams. Some of them have been in the news. Some of them have not been in the news. One thing, Zach Wilson is going to get traded from the Jets. Exciting times, I guess, if you're Jets fans, because he won't be your backup next year. I don't know who's going to be your backup when Rodgers tears his other Achilles next year. Hopefully he doesn't, but he's 40. But
too far.
Zach Wilson, is there any redeeming quality in Zach Wilson?
Yeah, not at all. Listen, I've been here in New York, and I don't want to say that the guy has gotten some, unfair treatment or whatever, but I mean, he was getting eviscerated on the radio pretty much every single day around here, even just, Twitter and stuff like that. I don't think he's welcome in New York anymore, and I'm not sure who's truly willing to take that experiment on, because it is an experiment. You're not getting Zach Wilson. He's not going to be your starter next year. Right. If you do that, I think that's absolutely bonkers with the way that he performed this season, especially, having Rodgers there, calling the plays in his ears and stuff like that. Like, if you can't take advantage of that with Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall and all these great weapons, I'm not sure exactly where he's going to fit in.
Mhm.
It's a reclamation project. I wouldn't be surprised if a more winning team goes after him. Like, I know Nick from uSTADIUM was telling us the Chiefs and the Eagles potentially could be suitors. I found that a little strange, but I mean, if you're going to let him sit behind a more seasoned quarterback, I think at this point that's a lost cause. I'm not really sure what you're getting out of that.
Mhm.
If you want him to be your backup, maybe he could be a formidable backup in the league. But even that, I mean, you see, we've all seen what he does. I mean, I'm not sure what you can get out of him. The arm is there, and the talent's never really been a question.
Mhm.
It's just the reads, the easy stuff, the check downs. I mean, if you can't do the easy stuff in this league, there's no way you're going to succeed. So,
It do be
we'll
like
see.
that.
I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what his next destination will be, but it'll be interesting to see who picks him up.
Okay, Jack, I got a question for you. Trevor Lawrence is entrenched as a starter. Justin Fields might get a starting job next year. Of the other 3 first-round quarterbacks from 2021, so Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, who starts an NFL game next?
That's a good question.
Lance is in Dallas. Mac Jones is currently in New England and mad at everybody. Understandable. And Zach Wilson's going to be traded soon.
Yeah, I think
you have your life is on the line right
my
here.
life. There's a gun to my head. I can feel it right now.
I think I have the answer for that. Jack, go though.
I don't know, honestly. I really don't. But if I had to pick between one of them, I'm probably gonna go with I'll pay for. Well, good thing that I'm not getting a haircut anytime soon. So, speaking of haircuts, Splash used to have a whole it was shoulder length.
Wow, yeah.
So,
I forgot. I didn't even realize you got the buzz cut, Splash.
Yeah.
Times have changed.
Yes,
times have certainly changed.
Yeah, go back to the last time we streamed, and it's like full. I can't compare it to.
How'd you
it's
hear?
Like yeah.
I don't know who to compare it to. It's like
long.
Trevor Lawrence with black hair, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, no,
something
that was no. I'm gonna go with between those 3. I think I'm probably gonna go with Zach, and the reason is I think teams might be willing to take a bigger chance on him because he's been in New York. And I understand that there's been rumors bouncing around too, as well as because he had a couple of moments in the locker room. I think the year before Rodgers, where it was I don't remember what he said, but there was some he wasn't willing to put in the work ethic, or he was being a little disrespectful of some team. I think those issues might be gone now, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
So the last thing that happened with Zach Wilson in the New York media was he told, or his agent told the Jets that he didn't want to start or something like that. And then the media tried to flip it into the whole he doesn't want to work. And who is he to say that he doesn't want to start?
He was uneasy about going back into the game after he was
that's what it was.
Because they went through the games with who did they have? They had Boyle, I think.
Goodness.
Tim Boyle. Yeah.
Tim Boyle.
Trevor Siemian.
They had that handful of games. I think the Jets are just not the organization for him right now. I really don't think it's gonna work out there. I think there are teams that could recognize the potential that he. Not sure. I'll make it a take. I'll do it after the show. I'll get it up. But yeah, no, I think that there's.
I think this might be the Knicks going to the Eastern Conference Finals. But point taken. Anything can be a take. I made a take that Mike McDonald would be a head coach by February 1st. That one hopefully doesn't come true, but with how well he managed in the last game, he might.
My thing is, I don't know what's gonna happen. I just don't know what's gonna happen with the. I don't know what the current Rangers streak is right now. What is it like?
Ooh, maybe he's not the NHL.
I think it was losing. I think it's a losing streak.
Is it a losing streak? I've been too distracted in hockey because the Kings are on an abysmal slide right now. I think my big issue though, they lied with the other 2 quarterbacks that you mentioned, Mac Jones. I don't know where he ends up next year. I don't even know if there's a team. I think it depends on what the Patriots do in the draft too. They have a pretty high pick in the draft, so I think that they could look at the quarterback position.
I wouldn't be surprised. This may sound a little out of the blue, but I wouldn't be surprised if they keep Mac Jones and let whoever they draft at quarterback potentially sit a year under him. That's kind of the model these days. But
I mean, it's hard to. I think about it, and it's like it's kind of hard to remember sometimes that there is a new regime now in New England. Bill Belichick is gone.
Yeah,
so,
Rod Mayo, of course. Yeah.
Have they hired a GM
don't even
yet?
know. I'm not sure.
So,
I don't
right?
think so.
I could be wrong.
That up.
I don't think so. Are they trying to do the Belichick thing with Mayo, or are they actually going to hire a GM for once?
Pat Sullivan, or was
okay. Fascinating. Yeah, Belichick's. I don't remember how old you guys are, but Belichick's been like the entire Patriots.
According to CBS
years
News,
now.
I don't know how legit this is, but it's on the CBS website. It says that the Patriots are not expected to name a general manager until after the draft, if at all. So, not sure how that scenario would work.
Maybe they should get Belichick's dog to do it.
They're going into the draft with
Belichick's dog to do it.
I think we're starting to head. Well, maybe not. This is more of like an old school Belichick type thing, where like I feel like your coaching staff is going to be taking care of the draft this year, and I feel like that's the reason why Belichick doesn't really have a job in Atlanta right now. I think Atlanta was scared to give him that, complete control over the franchise, because when you get Belichick, it's more than just a head coach. He's controlling everything, and that's your draft picks, even that's your current roster that you have right now. That's anyone that's on the fence about coming onto the roster, stuff like that, trades, everything of that nature. I mean,
yeah, and like think of it like a chef, right? So Belichick is the chef. The food Belichick was cooking was edible. The ingredients were bad. Problem is Belichick was buying the ingredients. So he's trying to like cook up this like fancy schmancy meal, right? But it ends up being like a grilled cheese because Bill Belichick, the general manager, just went and got Velveeta slices and white bread. What are you going to do? What are you going to do with that?
You
can't make anything too
slices?
crazy. So like these drafts, like dating back into the Brady era, it's just whiff after whiff after whiff after whiff. And I will point out that the Patriots always had high picks. They are always like in the 20s, always in the 30s. They're always winning Super Bowls and going to Super Bowls. So I get that. And there's some.
Yes.
It's kind of what Pittsburgh's dealing with. They don't have too many blue chip guys, but that's a story for another time. I get it. But the cupboards are bare. Part of that is Belichick kept whiffing on draft picks. The first half of the dynasty, the 2000s part, the early 2010s, how many hits did he have on day 2, day 3? How many guys year after year, starters, UDFAs, how many unsung heroes were on those teams, especially on defense? Because he couldn't draft a wide receiver to save his life. Fair enough there. But the second half, man, look, with all due respect to Cole Strange, who's a solid NFL player, why are you taking him in the first round? And N'Keal Harry, disaster. It's like just whiff after whiff after whiff. You have the 2 tight ends they take in the third round, the Asiasi and it's a third round tight end. I can't even remember his name. That's bad.
That's how bad it is because Splash doesn't remember who it is.
Yeah, if Splash doesn't remember who it is, then it's bad. I can promise you.
I remember Devin Asiasi because I think he's still on the team because they wanted him like he's like a fullback role. But bro, the Patriots draft picks, I could pull them up if I had the tab open, but not good. And that's why Belichick isn't the head coach anymore. If they had been drafting better and they were a better team, this is a fundamentally bad roster from top to bottom.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, they have a couple players. Like, I think Ramondre is pretty good.
Yeah, Ramondre's good. Christian Barmore's awesome, man.
Christian Gonzalez before injury was pretty good.
That's a home run. That's a home run. That's their best first-round pick in years.
That's what I was about to say. That's probably their best. If that's your best first-round pick in years,
okay. To be fair, he's awesome.
He's awesome. But I mean,
he's awesome. But the problem is, who's second? Who's the second best first-round pick they've had in the last 10 years?
That's the
ultimately, though, to answer your question about the quarterback position, I really just think that the direction that the Patriots are going to look at is probably quarterback, especially when you look at the draft class too and how they have the 3rd overall pick. You got guys like Caleb Williams, I mean,
Drake May.
They're going to draft Jaden Daniels at 3.
Jaden
I hope
Daniels.
not. I really hope not.
I feel bad for you, D. You kind of get screwed here because the Patriots were so bad. Keep in mind, shout out, actually, big shout out, Chad Ryland. This is why you draft kickers, so they can tank for you. He was the worst kicker in football and was giving away victories like candy. I'm just gonna read through the last few first-round picks for the Patriots. Christian Gonzalez, good player. Cole Strange, fine player. You don't take him in the first round.
Not a first rounder yet. Exactly.
Mac Jones was good for a a little bit, not good anymore.
Made the playoffs that season.
First year. Yeah, hey, fair enough. 2020, they didn't have a first-round pick. They took Kyle Duggar at the top of the second round. Good player. 2019, N'Keal Harry, disaster. 2018, Isaiah Wynn, disaster. 2017, they didn't have a first or a second-round pick. They got a solid, you get Derek Rivers, who played 24 games. Antonio Garcia, the third-round pick, didn't play at all. Dietrich Wise is a good player. Connor McDermott is a solid player. You had 4 picks in that draft.
None of these names are jumping off the page.
Yeah, 2016, no first-round picks. Your second-round pick is a as a special team specialist, Cyrus Jones. Hey, they did get Joe Tooney in the third round. That's about it. Back to 2015, Malcolm Brown, bad. Dominique Easley in 2014, bad. 2013, no first round picks. Then you're at Chandler Jones, Dante Hightower in 2012. So you're telling me
Hightower had a stretch there where he was awesome, but
yeah, love me some Dante Hightower, love me some Chandler Jones at certain points in his career. But you're telling me the last 12 years, your second best first round pick might be Mac Jones.
Yeah, that's
boy,
that's bad. That's bad. That's a long time. Honestly, when you put it like that, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around, especially when you think of Belichick and Brady in that era of winning and stuff like that.
I can picture this going down right now. It's going to be one. It's not even going to be a real boxing
We got
match.
odds for it.
It's going to be one of those where we're like in like the inflatable boxing ring, and we have like those comically oversized gloves, and that's what we're going to be doing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Also, on another note, Lions keeping Ben Johnson. Good. I think.
Good move
but
for them.
Bad for his coaching career.
Bad move for his coaching
career.
Seahawks
shambles on that one. Though.
I think that for me, you as an offensive coordinator, you never really know what your max value is on the market, especially when you're about to become a coach. I think that coming off of this Lions season and the impressive season that Johnson had, besides, the offense scoring 0 points in the third quarter against the 49ers, not really his fault. Kind of could have put 3 up there, but whatever, we'll forget that. I think he could have just jumped on the opportunity, and the fact that he didn't jump on this Commander's opportunity, I think it speaks volumes about him as a coach. I think if you wanted to go and win a Super Bowl, which is what he said he wants to win a Super Bowl. Campbell, that's his guy. Cool, no problem. I definitely get it, but you're probably not getting a coaching opportunity as easy as it was this year, especially if the Lions aren't as good as they were this year next year. I feel like the Lions could have, a similar offense next year. I'm not exactly sure what their free agent situation is, and they always they've been drafting well.
I'm not year, incorporating Jameson Williams. I don't know their free agents off the top of my head, but Jahmyr Gibbs in year 2, Jameson Williams in year 3.
Year 2 Gibbs is going to be an animal. And year 2 awesome. Laporta also going to be in it.
That good point. I will say that the draft class slander, we're not going to feel it now, but in year 3 and year 4, you're going to feel it. When Gibbs is getting close to that next contract, you're like, we really picked a running back in the first round. And Jack Campbell was not very good this season. Can he be better? Yes, but
yes, definitely.
Maybe you just pick different positions. Look, I'm a big Brian Branch guy. He was in my second team all splash. And he was my defensive rookie of the year pick.
Second team all splash.
Bro, I was cooking this year.
The all splash team.
You were pretty good with some stuff.
Did I mention that Demario Davis has made all 5 of my second teams? 5 years, 5 second teams. Yeah. Demario Davis has been like the third or fourth best linebacker 5 straight years.
Yeah. Nothing against Demario Davis. He's a great player.
He's awesome, but he's just been second team every single year.
What else we got over here?
GM Capital Service. We got an award for you, maybe.
It just popped up on my feed on Twitter that Bleacher Report apparently dropped a trade suggestion where the Rams trade a 2024 5th-round pick for Trey Lance. I don't know.
That's a good one.
You got Stetson Bennett. You might draft a quarterback in the.
I don't know if Stetson Bennett's staying around here. If I'm going to be completely honest, that's not the vibe I get that he's staying.
Where is he supposed to go?
Back to college.
By where he's
Good one.
You know, they were teammates. He and Stafford were teammates at Georgia.
They were. Yeah,
I'm kidding.
That's
they're both Georgia quarterbacks, though.
This is a good point.
But,
speaking of Georgia, perhaps the Antichrist of Georgia, outside of Bryce Harper, is one Arthur Smith, a.k.a. the newest offensive coordinator for the Steelers. Out goes Matt Canada. In comes Arthur Smith. The memes have been cooking. Urinating tree was cooking. But I have a hot take. I'm going to whisper it, though. I kind of like the hire for Pittsburgh. And this isn't like a roundabout Ravens thing. I actually like the hire.
Nah. Jack, if you want to go first.
No, by all means, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, yeah. I mean, listen, bro. To me, this is... If you want to get the most out of Kenny Pickett, which it seems like they're not drafting a quarterback as of right now. Right. If you want to get the most out of Kenny Pickett, I feel like Arthur Smith is a safe choice. Arthur Smith and what he did with Tennessee those couple of years with Ryan Tannehill, I think the proof is in the pudding. He could kind of create an offense that's super ground and pound. And that's basically what he's known for. I think you're probably going to try and establish a run game. The only issue here is that last year in Atlanta, he was establishing a run game, but not with this first-round pick with Tyler Algier, and it made absolutely no damn sense. So I'm not sure what the role for James Warren and Najee Harris is going to be going forward, but I could easily see a situation where Najee Harris is off the block in, 6-7 weeks if things aren't going well. I feel like James Warren showed enough last season where they may consider him that number one guy, especially if Najee is struggling. I mean, the amount of money that everything involved with Najee is just a little bit weird. So for me, this hire just screams Tomlin wanting to get the most out of Pickett, the safe choice here. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's kind of just like Matt Canada 2.0. Not exactly, but it's like it's nothing special here. I don't see the appeal necessarily, especially after such a terrible season and the way it ended in New Orleans with the Jameis Winston, whatever the hell happened over there. That was hilarious. But I mean, dude, like you're screaming after the game, and it left a bad taste in my mouth personally. Like it seemed like just very losery, and I don't know if that's someone that the Steelers need to be bringing into that locker room, especially with all the shit that we hear about that locker room. I don't know, man. Not the move for me. What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, no, I kind of agree. I think this is it's not necessary. I don't know if anything can necessarily be as ridiculous as what Matt Canada was for that team. So I mean,
good point.
Arthur Smith could be close, dude.
I don't
think so. I don't think so. He is not. He has like NFL level concepts. Matt Canada did not have NFL level concepts,
That's
man.
True, yeah.
Like Arthur Smith has led a good offense. Ryan Tannehill was legitimately awesome for 2 years.
Yes, he was.
Like
I won't disagree.
PFF grade, so take grain of salt if you will. But he was like a 90 graded quarterback. That's like Mahomes, Allen, Burrow,
Top of the line.
Rodgers. Yeah, that's awesome. Like granted, the production, like the total yards, total touchdowns weren't necessarily there because you have Derrick Henry, but I'm not sold on Kenny Pickett. I have my concerns there. I had all 5 of the guys that ended up being drafted. I had like 3rd round grades on all of them. My favorite quarterback in that draft class was Carson Strong, but he has like degenerative knees. So let me just jump off a bridge real quick. That is as sad of a take as I've ever had. Yeah, he's a 1st round quarterback. He has no knees, you buffoon. Regardless. I'm kind of in on the Arthur Smith thing, and this isn't like a sadistic Ravens fan take. This is like a legitimate football take. I think if Kenny Pickett has any like kernel of a good quarterback, I think Arthur Smith can get some of that out. Very modern West Coast offense, pro style, Shanahan-y, you're going to establish the wide zone with Warren and with Najee. You're going to get Pickett on the move, rollouts, boots. And I think you can get a good version of Kenny Pickett. I think you can have like what Jared Goff was under Ben Johnson. Look, Bobby Slowick in Houston was working great stuff with CJ Stroud. You have all these like Shanahan influences across the league, like half the league runs Shanahan offenses. And look, Atlanta had a productive offense. It was the wrong players, especially if you're a fantasy manager, fantasy owner of Kyle Pitts.
The completely wrong players.
I had Kyle
first round picks, man.
I had Kyle Pitts on, like he was on my bench the whole season. I don't know how I won a fantasy title this year. I don't know.
When did you drafted him or you picked him up?
Yeah, I drafted him. I drafted Kyle Pitts. I don't
probably like the 6th round and got totally hosed on it the whole year.
In a 10-man or a 12?
It was the 6th round. I think
probably
it was
a 4-man.
Well, how many
6-man?
I'm kidding, Jack. I'm kidding.
Oh, okay, tiny.
Not the biggest fantasy league, but it's not.
It'd be like
small
that.
Either 6-man. I think.
All right. So before we wrap up, we have any last takes? There's one comment in the chat I want to get to, but any last takes for you guys?
Ben Johnson, you effed up, dude. You effed up. You take the job when it's available because you never know what's going to happen next year. I wish you all the best, and I hope that you could figure it out with the Lions and that you have another successful season and that there's going to be more teams knocking at your door. But the reality of the NFL is that opportunities get taken away very quickly. Right. I mean, for Christ's sakes, if Bill Belichick can't get a job right now and it's looking like he's going to be sitting out a season, dude, you better have a good offense next year. It better be similar to what it was this year if you want a head coaching job. So,
okay, rapid fire. Is Mahomes the GOAT?
In progress.
I think
he's going to get there.
Is he top 3 all time?
No.
I think he is. I think he is the best quarterback to ever play the game. Not the greatest. That's Brady, but the best. Most talented.
Yes, I agree with Splash there. Just watching him, we've never seen anyone play at this level, quite literally ever. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was just absolutely beautiful against the Ravens, what he was doing inside the pocket. That one little flip play where like he avoided basically three rushers coming at him.
He doesn't take sacks. That's the special thing about Mahomes. He doesn't take negative plays.
He doesn't take negative plays, and he makes the most out of really shitty plays. So he just starts scrambling, and you saw that play to Travis Kelce, that little flip, whatever the hell that throw was.
To give you an example that's like several years old now, Patrick Mahomes is the only quarterback in NFL history to score 50 or more points in a game and lose.
Yeah, unbelievable.
That's true. All right.
Who did he lose that game to?
Follow him everywhere.
Who did he lose that game to?
The Rams. That was the 54-51 game on Monday night.
That was the one that nearly got us killed off YouTube.
Exactly.
Good job, Jack. Okay. Question 2. Number 1 to number 32. Where does Brock Purdy rank among quarterbacks? I don't think he's. I do not.
I don't think that's a good rapid fire question. I think that one's.
That's a one that you gotta do a little bit of a deeper dive here.
I don't think he's in the top 10. I think there are more talented players. Listen, I'm impressed. He was pretty good against Detroit. Respect there. He's gonna play for a Super Bowl. But
I think he did enough. I mean, he did what was asked.
He does enough to win.
He does enough for them to win.
But exactly. I don't think that I do think he's a bit of a lucky quarterback too. Like you've seen how many throws over the last few weeks where like they could have been picked off.
The Ayuk. Oh my god, dude, it's living rent free in my head. Absolutely unbelievable.
That should have been picked off. It should have been picked off
of his helmet right into Ayuk's hands down on the one. And
the kind of bounces that the 49ers as a whole
get. Okay, Jack.
I could go on.
Okay. Orioles, good on them for changing ownership, passing on from the Angelos family. The future is bright in Camden Yards. And last but not least, who's winning the SEC in 2024? The answer is Georgia. Sadly, I want to shoot myself.
The answer is LSU.
I don't think so.
I don't even know who's in the
LSU's
Stadium.
recruiting
dear,
class
Jack.
is
These
insane.
college teams have been bouncing all over conferences all over the place.
This is
actually-
a fair point. This is a fair point.
Listen, Bama first year with Kalen DeBoer is also going to be good. That's going to be interesting. Let's see what happens with the recruits and stuff over there. It's way too early to tell, but I mean, LSU's recruiting class as of right now, it's up there with Ohio State's. It looks really, really good. They got a lot of 5-star.
I think it's another Georgia
everything.
Year, so. We're over an hour now.
We're
over an hour now. So thank you guys for tuning in, whether you're on Twitter, whether you're on YouTube. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, whatever. Follow us on Instagram. We are inching our way closer to 100,000 followers on Instagram. That's a huge number, dog. If you have a uSTADIUM account and you did not comment your username, tag me on the app. I'll send you some points. Hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. I usually say go Ravens or go Braves, but I'm sad. So don't be sad. Be glad. Have a nice evening, folks.
See you guys.